So Skunkworks is done, but that doesn't mean it's ever really done. You know me, I like to screw with things unnecessarily, and that's exactly what we're gonna do today with Skunkworks. But first, listen to this message from our sponsor, Swish and Nick. Today's video is sponsored by Kano and their new Harry Potter wand. It's the perfect gift this holiday season for the Harry Potter fan in your family that also likes tech. With over 70 creative challenges, you can learn how to code and recreate popular spells from the Harry Potter franchise, or even create your own. And with recommended ages between 6 and 690, it's the perfect gift this holiday season for the Harry Potter and technology fan in your family. And right now, you can learn how to save even an additional 20% by checking the link in the description below. Okay, so Skunkworks is done when it comes to hardware and overclocking. If you guys haven't seen the previous videos of what led up to this configuration of Skunkworks, which is like its 4th or 5th iteration now, it's RTX 2080 Ti SLI, which unfortunately is useless until some titles come out that actually allow you to SLI and DX12 and RTX on, not Battlefield at this point. It's got a 7960X 16 core 18 thread. Yeah, we went backwards there. 16 core 32 thread processor and the same 64 gigs of RAM and all that stuff. But what this system has never had, and is had in here since the day I built it, all the way back to the 4790K era, that was when I actually built this particular system, is it never had like lit fans. I've got some pretty lit fans though. You guys follow me on social. Y'all are dope. But anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead. I've never had fans that light up, and the builds I've done since then have all had some sort of illuminated fan because that's kind of become the thing since I started building this system back in 2014. So that's why today we're gonna tear it half apart just to do the cosmetic swap of lit fans. Now I don't want, you're gonna put a little fire logo up here every time I say lit, aren't you, Phil? I can feel it. These are the Corsair ML120 Pro LED fans. These are kind of the predecessor to what's now known as like the HD 120 or the RGB, and then now the light loop or LL fans. These are just white, and you can order them in white, green, white, blue, or red. No green, unfortunately. I might have gone with green, but I want fans that light up. Now here's the thing, here's the reason why I'm really doing this. Not just because they light up, but these are the Quiet Edition SP120 fans in here, except for the front. These are the AF or airflow, or SP for static pressure. They've been running in this system now for 4 years, going on 5 years. And the bearings are starting to get a little bit loud. They've got some dust and stuff in there, and sure, I could tear them apart and clean the bearings and re-oil them and put it back together. These are maglev fans. That's what the ML stands for magnet levitation. So there's not actually a bearing or a sleeve or anything in there that's being contacted. It's riding on a magnetic field, which makes it extremely quiet when it comes to motor buzz and stuff like that. If you've ever had an old like ball bearing or sleeve bearing fan go bad, then what happens is they start to make a buzzing sound, dust gets in there, they start to slow down, they hum, and that's not what these are gonna do. Unlike regular systems where you can just sort of like open it up, unbolt some fans, unplug it, and put it in, Skunkworks is a little more complicated. But I want a little more bling, like I said. But we're not convinced. I talked to Phil prior to this video, and we decided we're gonna leave the 140s down here as the standard Corsair fans that don't light up, because we wanna bring our attention up to here and not necessarily light this area up down here. It's just white LEDs, right? So it would just kind of be showing through, which I think would be neat, but I don't have any 140s right now. And to put 140s down there, I would have to rip them out of my current system I have upstairs in the studio. And let's just face it, I'm kind of lazy. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put one in the back, and then we're gonna test that before I go draining the loop. One of the nice things about the ML fans is the fact that because they're not RGB, they don't have any extra wiring that you've got to deal with. Now there's plenty of room for it in this case. Some of the smaller form factor cases are kind of difficult to do, like the RGB fans, because they'll have another lead coming off of it specifically for the RGB. It's that 4-pin, and then that's got to go into a controller, and then from the controller it's got to go into a whatever. And you can just use splitters, but again, you're adding a whole bunch of wiring. So this is all you've got right here for the ML fan. It's just the PWM, because the actual white LEDs in the case or the fan itself get power through the PWM 12 volt on there. Okay, don't stick your finger in the fan, Jay, which is something I do a lot of. What we wanted to kind of test right now is, yeah, there's no keyboard or mouse plugged in, I know EVGA. We just wanted to see if the white LEDs on this, oh, they don't, look at that, they don't affect the UV at all. See that? The UV is stronger than the output of, like lumen-wise, My only concern, honestly, is these white pieces right here, which, to be honest, I think I could actually like take these off and paint them. All right, so after about an hour and a half worth of work and waiting for paint to dry and literally watching it dry, it's ready to go now with our Battleship Gray paint. It's the same exact paint we used on the rings on the SB. So as you can see, they're sort of Battleship Gray and a good accent to you know, the rest of our system there. Very monochromatic, but now these are gonna light up white. So now we've got to go ahead and install them. And like I said, I like to do things the hard way, which means now I've got to drain my CPU loop, which is fortunately the easiest loop in this system to drain, so that I can actually set these up. So yeah, with the fans at 100%, it's pretty obvious it's moving some air. That's just a single 120. We think it looks great like this, and with the front, how you can see the fans there. I'm gonna shut the lights off real quick so you guys can see. I think that looks absolutely phenomenal in terms of being able to see the fans through there. But now I feel like I have to see the bottom here. I feel like we have to see the bottom for two reasons. One, just the amount of additional static pressure we've gained by doing this. Let's see if I can get this panel off real quick. The biggest complaint you guys had, and I'm gonna go ahead and justify a decision I made a while back, once again, the justification does not hold water anymore. Because the bottom fans here, this panel is always so tight. Oh, there. The bottom panel is really tight. So these are airflow fans. You see the blades, how there's lots of blades and they are spaced out and there's gaps. This moves a decent amount of air through the radiator. The problem is it's got a lot of obstruction it has to overcome. It has to come through the panel, it has to go through the rad, which is a thick rad, and then it has to go through all the components and wires and tubes that are on the bottom and then out the back. I do have two rear exhausting fans back here that help pull that hot air out. The problem is, at the time I built this system and went with the 560 radiator, which is 4 140 millimeter fans, there were no static pressure optimized 140 millimeter fans on the market. This, as mainstream as water's become, or water cooling's become, static pressure on the larger formats, even 200 millimeter static pressure fans are becoming sort of a thing. The larger the fan gets, the lower the static pressure. And this has gotten the job done. It's just not doing it as efficiently as I would like. So now we have to switch out the bottom ones. So yeah, we went ahead and did it. That was a lot more work than it actually seemed like it would be though, because I had to take the fans out of my system upstairs, which I don't do a lot of rendering on, but it's my rendering rig, and now it has no case fan, so I've got to replace those, maybe with some of these. These are all the fans we took out. Look how many fans we actually freed up here. Well, there's 14 of them right here, but that's okay, I digress. Here they are right here, my 140 millimeter ML140. So much higher static pressure. They're gonna be much louder because I've got to go in here and still adjust the fan curve and stuff. We had to drain the loop to fill it up for the top rad. We got those in, and yeah, the loops look like two different shades of green because this one's slightly aerated because it's fresh. That one's already been in there for a while, so they will go back to the same color. So let's go ahead and turn it on now. It's gonna be loud. Like I said, they're running 100%. So let's see what it looks like. That was anticlimactic. That is so loud. I still think painting it was a good idea because I know the white would have shown through really bad. So it actually makes a buzzing sound. It moves so much air because this grill. So yeah, this system under 100% load would be pretty annoying. Okay, so maybe quickly I'll go into the program and slow down the fans. Watch, joke's gonna be on me. These for some reason won't slow down under DC. So all of the cores are sitting in the mid to low 20s at the moment, which is pretty insane. Of course, we've got C states enabled, so all the voltage and everything is really low. I'm gonna run Cinebench right now and see what the temps are. Hottest core 74, 75. Nope, there's a 76. But yeah, okay, so I'd say obviously the airflow in this is super effective, but obviously we've got to quiet it down. It's a little bit on the loud side. So in typical Jay fashion, one thing leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. Yes, I know the front fans aren't going, they're not plugged in right now. These fans are extremely picky with voltage. And what I mean by that is if they don't get enough starting voltage, then they just pulsate, like the lights will pulse. And yes, to be fair, I've got 4 fans per header, and there's plenty of amperage on those headers though to be able to power the fans. My problem is the volume. specifically the bottom fan right here, the bottom fans. The blades are so close to this grill that when I close the grill all the way, it's kind of sitting off, as you can see. It makes a very irritating sound. Listen. So it makes a very high-pitched propeller kind of a sound, as you can hear. Well, Jay, just turn it down. What I found is it still makes that sound all the way down to the voltage at which the fan won't even start. It's just because of how close the blades are to the grill. So now I'm stuck with the prospect of putting the other fans back, or just putting some other 140 millimeter fans that I have, like my Vardar fans or something, and going from there. So it's back to the way it was a couple hours ago, or like 4 hours ago, because now I don't even care anymore at this point. Now, at the end of the day, I'm very well aware but that system's not silent. I never built Skunkworks to be silent. It's got 16 fans in it, or 14 fans, or whatever it was I said earlier. It's got a lot of fans, way more fans than it needs. And that's what makes it cool. As you can hear now, the volume is much more manageable, and the system looks better with those fans up in the top and stuff. I now really think that this is a perfect example of why custom computers can take so damn long to build. Well, not as long as it took to build the Post Malone PC, because I'm building a house in less time than that took. So that's besides the point. At the end of the day, Skunkworks is going to continue to be tinkered with because it's my favorite system I've ever built. It's now a legend because it is in a case that you can't even buy anymore. And I thought about actually decommissioning this system a while back, and I decided not to now. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching this useless video, which is nothing more than Jay changing out fans, and hopefully you found it somewhat entertaining. And again, a huge thank you to our sponsor for today's video, Kano, and their new Harry Potter wand. So please check out the link down in the description below. You guys can go and see compounding discounts on that, like we mentioned in our ad. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, we'll see you in the next one. Cut, say cut.